Hi folks, my name's Nigel. Do Tesla supercharging sites make a profit for Tesla? As I've had it suggested here, that because the prices are going down from Tesla, that they're making a profit out of cars and subsidising the supercharging. I'm not sure that's true, so I'm going to look at some of the facts and some of the details. But also, do Tesla pay rent for their supercharger sites, or do people pay them to go there? Maybe you have a Tesla and you've got some views and some experiences with supercharging, but also maybe you own an EV that isn't a Tesla, but you're using a Tesla Supercharger. So I would love to hear from you also. And I'd like to answer as many questions as I possibly can about Tesla Supercharging. Hope you can subscribe and like, and it helps the channel. And let's get right into it. So the first question is, do Tesla Superchargers make a loss or a profit? Well, prices, if you look, around about the 37p kilowatt hour, much lower than they used to be. Although I never really paid much more than that, because I always tried to avoid the dearer times, the sort of 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. as much as I could. But prices are much lower now. And some say Tesla are loss leading to get all the market share, and then they'll put the prices up. Well, first of all, let's look at the wholesale price of electricity, and that is around 6p a kilowatt hour. It varies between about 4.8 and 7, but on average it's 6p a kilowatt hour. Now that price is very likely to be a lot less at night. You may have noticed all superchargers have big battery packs, so Tesla are clearly buying when the electricity is cheaper and selling it when it would be dearer. So if Tesla are buying at 6p a kilowatt hour and potentially a lot less at night, selling at 37p a kilowatt hour, that's a gross profit margin of 83%. Now I know that is only gross profit, but it is a starting point of any business. The difference in the price you buy something and the price that you sell it for. That's 83%. They do have obviously other costs. They actually own the companies that make the charging machines and the batteries. So Tesla make their own equipment, so they're able to reduce the cost and do the installation. 83% is a pretty high gross profit. It's probably higher than most restaurants, actually, if you look at it. In fact, it is, but often they're only 70 to 80%, and they don't have to make any food. They have to dispense electricity. Tesla don't show the profits made from superchargers. It's all lumped in with energy. So you really have to then try and extract how much profit they're making. They probably do that because they don't want people to know exactly how much profit they are making. Initially, Tesla started with superchargers because they wanted to make it easier for people to travel. And the supercharging was really only to supplement the sales of cars. But as time went on, it was clear that supercharging was going to make a profit. Now, currently, it's making about £500 million a year. Like I say, the energy and services includes the supercharging. So you have to try and extract some of those figures. Analysts believe that the supercharging is eventually going to make more money than the manufacturing of cars. Now, on that question, we were talking about the gross profit margin. In cars, it's only 19%, and then you take costs, all the costs out of that. That's the gross profit as disclosed by Tesla. It's been suggested that the supercharging profits are helping to offset some of the losses incurred by the Tesla manufacturing of cars, but it is complex. So the 83% gross profit margin we're talking is the cost of the electricity, and Tesla have to dispense that through their superchargers, and they will charge 37p, in some cases a bit more, and certainly more if you're not in a Tesla. So this is 83%. Now, if you are unlucky enough to own a garage forecourt, you'll be lucky to be making 3-4% on fuel. if you are the petrol company and own it, you'll be making much more because you're doing the whole process. And the reason you have a shop in a garage forecourt is because there's so little profit in petrol, diesel, that and so the owners want to make more money, 20-30% on confectionery and higher on some other things, way more as a percentage than you'll ever make on fuel. That's why they do it. So that's the reason that they have a shop. But shops have to be managed, they have to be replenished and stocked. But even then, the margin isn't that 83% that I'm talking about. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of gross profit. And I've never seen anyone working in a Tesla Supercharger or maintaining. They have people, but I'm suggesting that they're making loads of money. Now, this has inspired other companies to get into the act and charge 79, 80, 90p a kilowatt hour, and that's why no one's using them. Why would you? You must be dumb. It was different when you had to buy a Tesla to use the Supercharger. Now you don't have to. So next question is, do Tesla pay rent for their supercharging sites? The answer is it varies. Some they do, some they don't. There have been instances where people pay them to go there because they know the value of a Tesla Supercharger. Whenever I'm supercharging, people are coming and going pretty much every minute, and I've noticed my times in superchargers are getting less and less, and other people's also. And I think a lot of the superchargers, let's say they're only half full, a lot of them are being used 4 or 5 times in an hour. Not that I've ever been there an hour, but I'm going to have to put the sort of a time-lapse film on it to actually see what the results are. And so you might think, well, only half their superchargers are being used, but in a time of an hour, they're being used a lot. So if you own a Tesla, I'd love to know your views. And even if you don't, I'd love to know your views. If you can comment and if you can subscribe, that would be wonderful. I've been driving for over 50 years. I learnt in the RAF, and I was driving HGV at the age of 19, although you're meant to be 21, but in the services you can be younger, and I was. And I've been driving for 50 years. Had the Tesla for 3.5 years. Certainly never going back to a petrol or diesel car. Why would I? If I was buying one now, I would probably go second hand. However, I've got a link if you are thinking of buying a new one down below, and there's money off a new Tesla. Now, they keep changing it, so I'm not going to say exactly how much it is, other than to say you would be better off if you were going to buy a Tesla using my link, and that's in pretty much any country you like to choose. Euros in Europe, pounds in the UK, dollars in North America. So if you can use my link, that would be brilliant. Also, any comments? I seem to get less and less of the negative ones now. They used to be quite regular. And the other thing I've noticed recently is the negative sites are going less at Tesla because they know that this wall is not going to be broken. There's people like me, and so many like me, that do enjoy a Tesla. And we're not Tesla fanboys. We're more granddads. And the reason we like it is because we like the driving experience. It's clean. It's modern, it's uncluttered. We love the driving experience, and we're certainly not going back to any other car. And so I think that now the anti-EV brigade, and let's face it, there's a lot. There's the oil companies, there's legacy manufacturers who are really suffering as sales of petrol and diesel just plummet. And there's also dealerships who want to sell you a petrol car because the electric car won't be coming back in for many repairs, and also they don't make much money on the electric cars. Some of them are still slagging off EVs and at the same time selling them, which is a very, very bizarre place to be in. So thank you very much for watching me today. Hope you can subscribe and like, that would be wonderful. Leave any comment down below, and I'll see you next time. And I've got a new coffee mug. I've been wearing out all my other ones. I like to take this wherever I go, and consider getting one of these, and you'll save money when you get coffee on the road. It has a lid to it, so you won't splash it. But you know what? Coffee, I just like to sit down and drink it and don't walk around with it. Oh, that's so good. Take care. See you next time. Peace.